In a televised address last year, President Obama said that America is and always will be a nation of immigrants. In 1958, then President-in-waiting John F. Kennedy wrote a book titled A Nation of Immigrants. And even in politically charged times when discussions of policy have been deeply partisan, immigration remains a defining characteristic of American identity. During a recent alumni conference, a panel of experts discussed the ongoing impact of immigration on the U.S. Their thoughts provide the focus for this edition of Rewind.
Obviously, we've been through years of the politicization of the immigration debate. We're seeing the emergence of new conversations about immigration, about questions of human capital, about the new kind of immigrant that are coming in. And look at what immigrants do from so many other countries, not just here in the United States, but around the world. It's an extraordinary phenomenon. And this obviously carries great implications both for the United States and its relationship with the world.
Well, you know, we're so far into this current wave of mass migration that now we can begin to say some definite things about where we're going as a country and what does it mean for this precise question of this half day here about the American future. Just as in the past, immigration, this current wave of immigration is re-energizing the nation. It's really contributing to the nation being more indispensable, not less. That the immigrants who are coming have the same kind of tolerance for risk, the believe in hard work, the faith in the future that we all think of when we think of the Ellis Island generation and past waves of immigration to come to this country.
There was a lot of debate and polarization around whether or not there was going to be a path to citizenship, but there wasn't much discussion of how people would actually navigate that path. Where were they going to get access to the free English classes after work and the reliable legal advice and the citizenship classes, hopefully in their native language, that would be required to navigate what was a very long and torturous path in the best case scenario. Basically, I think we need to treat immigrant integration as a public good. And that means that it requires, like other public goods, a significant investment of public resources and also much more scholarly energy.
What I want to point out as well, not only do we need more immigration judges, but we need attorneys to be appointed for children, as well as child advocates, advantages that they would have in a domestic court. But international as well as domestic norms in child welfare practice stipulate that detention should be a last resort, not a first response. And what the government has done in response to the surge is to create more and more large-scale facilities. And what we know from research is that those are the least appropriate facilities in which children should be detained.
I spent a lot of time in my life in Canada. Canada has a very different approach to immigration. They are strategic in the sense of saying we have certain labor market necessities in this country, and although we don't choose nationalities, what we do is we close and we open consulates, we offer more visas in certain places, we make it easier to get a visa in certain places than in others. Is a model like Canada's a fairer, better, more effective way to run your immigration system? Or are we actually on the right path in the United States?
I would argue that, in many ways, yes, Canada might have it does have a more rational immigration policy, but does it have a more humanitarian immigration policy? And I think that's an important question to be asking. Another major problem that we have is the country limits, right? So 1965 did away with country barriers or quotas, but there still are these country limits which really affect migration from Mexico, the Philippines, and a few other Asian countries. And that's one of the things that should be talked about in any kind of reform. Why would you constrain it? You might want to say, okay, we don't want as many family visa provisions, but why would you put country caps on it?
Susan talked about the response from the Mexican government to conversations, let's say, with the US government about stopping the flow further south. How do governments actually cooperate internationally to deal and address with the question of immigration so that it does end up as much more of a positive sum game?
I think there has been a lot of breakdown in inter-country cooperation and a sort of a defense of sort of national priorities and a defensiveness about the appropriate approach and a sort of resistance to American priorities.
For more information, visit wilsoncenter.org, where you can view the entire panel discussion as well as additional videos from the May 2015 Wilson Alumni Conference.